Hi, I'm Steve Wood. I'm the VP of Product Management at Salesforce for Flow, Workflow, and Approval. So I basically own all of the process technologies on the platform. And so today really I just want to talk about Flow, which is a new feature coming out in the Spring 11 release. It's currently in pilot, and what I thought I would do is just take you through what Flow is from an end user perspective and how it can really help you improve the way your business works using this technology. So it's really just a simple walkthrough, and we'll do some more sessions to perhaps dive into a bit more detail about how it actually works. But so let's start out by giving you a demonstration of how it works from an end user perspective. So this is Salesforce. Let me just log in quickly here. So what I'm going to show you is basically how Flow can be used in an insurance example. You've probably all done something with insurance in your life. You may have got a quotation for insurance online, so you may have done that as part of just getting your car insurance, or it may have been that you've spoken to a financial advisor about getting some insurance that way. But effectively what I'm going to show here is using Flow to automate the business process involved in getting an insurance quote. And I'll show you how it kind of changes the general feel of Salesforce to really get it to work harder the way your business does. So it's actually helping automate a lot of the manual tasks that you would normally have to do in Salesforce.com. So let's start from the end user. So I'm going to click on the Leads tab here. We're imagining that we're taking an order for a new quote on our insurance product. So let's just imagine, if you will, that I am an insurance agent giving a quotation. Maybe that I got this quotation request from a mailing letter coming from a customer, maybe that I'm speaking to the customer, maybe they're in my office, or it could be that we're on the telephone. But whatever the case is, I'm just going to put them into the system and get a quote for them on some new life insurance. So I'm going to click on New, and what we've done is we've taken Flow and we've overridden the New button. So basically now, rather than just simply giving you the lead record, it's actually going to walk us through a process. So we're actually going to have it so that Flow really helps us, guides us through getting a quote into the system. So first screen really is just saying, okay, well, what is our name really? So put in Wood here. Okay, and you can see Flow immediately is a pretty simplified user experience. Next, and you can see really nobody's been found in the system at that address. You can see we've also shown a nice mashup here, which is giving maybe the agent some relevant information that they need to help them with their job. It might be that we were providing them with some crime report stats. Maybe we want to know some information about that. Maybe we want to know just generally where they live. But in this case, we're just going to say they're not found, so we'll proceed. So the next screen that Flow is giving us is saying, okay, well, based on the information you've provided so far, we need to get you into the system. So I'll put me into the system here. One market, San Francisco. And you can see it's partly filled some of the information in for us, so we don't need to put everything in manually. If we've already provided it, we don't need to provide it again. But you can see just user experience is really quite simple. You know, we're just being guided through. You know, it's much simpler process to go through rather than having, you know, many fields we have to update and knowing which fields to update at which time. Flow is just telling us what information it needs in order to fulfill the process. So we click Next. And what Flow's done now is it's, well, actually, based on the information we've provided, we actually want to create a quote in the system. That was the process that we defined. So think about Flow as you define the process the way you want the platform to work, and then Flow will execute that process. And I'll show you a bit more of that later on. But effectively, what we've decided here is that because we've got to this stage in the Flow, we actually want to create a lead. And actually, Flow's gone off and created a lead for us, and it's showing that lead record here. So now really we're getting into the case of actually providing, okay, well, let's get a quote. So put in my age 37 and the face amount. So basically this is our standard quote, you know. So I'll click Next. And the great thing about Flow is it actually not only has the ability to guide you through a series of screens and through a business process, but also, you know, update Salesforce. It also has a calculation engine built into it as well. So what it's actually done here, on, if you look, is it's actually calculated the quote for the insurance. So Flow also has the ability to calculate business rules and logic, which is really quite a powerful feature to add. It's all done using basically rule flow, the sort of decision tree. And again, I'll show you that a little later. But really now it's just basically saying to us, okay, well, based on the information you provided so far, these are the premiums we'd offer you. does this person want to speak to a financial advisor? So if they were sitting with us, we might ask them. If they were online, they might say, yeah, I am. Or if it's on the phone, we would ask them. Or if it's a letter, we might say, well, yeah, they probably are if they're sending us a letter. So in this case, let's just say yes. So again, Flow is just going to, guiding us through this nice, simple process. That'll, we're not having to do a lot of hard work here. We're not having to understand a lot about the underlying data structures and what needs to happen there. We're just being guided. So you can see what it's done here is actually provided us with a final screen, which is basically saying that based on the information that you provided so far, we feel that you're now a full-blown opportunity. That's according to our sales process. What it's also done is created an illustration document for us. So an illustration, for those who are not in insurance, is basically that letter you get from the insurer telling you about the product that you've been offered. So I'm just going to open this up now. And what we've done is really just illustrating here an integration with Google Docs. So we're showing that Flow can not only update Salesforce like it did with the creating the lead and converting the lead to an opportunity, it's also pushed that data, created a document and sent the document over to Google Docs with all the information pre-filled in. So for us, we could now sort of say, well, thanks for your time today, and we can kind of spend our time personalizing this letter. So really, it's done all the hard work of actually creating the document for us, and we can just focus on personalizing it based on the relationship we have with the customer. Let me simply close that and click on Finish. And effectively, we're done. So that task is now completed. And if we now look at Salesforce, we can see, okay, well, what did it actually do in Salesforce to generate this quote? So let me go in here and show you. So we had a lead. It converted it to a full-blown opportunity. It also created an account for us, which has associated with the opportunity. It's created an activity logging to say that we've actually performed this activity, which is to say we've provided a quote. It's shown that we've done that for some person named Steve Wood. And we've also put them in the system here as a contact, and all the relevant information has been filled in, which is good. And we've also emailed that customer the quotation that we did, and we've changed that quotation into a PDF document and attached that to the Salesforce record, which is quite a lot of work if you think about it. But so now you kind of have to ask yourself some question. If I had to do this manually in Salesforce, yeah, I'm sure you could do that activity. If you're doing that activity regularly, that would be pretty straightforward. But if I said to you, well, which way would you rather do it? Would you rather do it manually, which is, creating that lead record, filling in just the relevant fields, then converting it to an opportunity and account, making sure you do that correctly, then creating that task and associating that with the relevant records, then opening up probably Word or something like that, or Google Docs, then writing the whole quote from scratch, or maybe finding the right template, using that template, and then turning that into a PDF, then downloading that PDF, sticking it into the system here, then emailing that off to the customer using the right email template. These are a lot of tasks, and we've done this automatically, which means that for us, it's radically easier. So if I was to say to you, well, now do you feel that you could actually give a customer a quote using Salesforce as the system to provide that quote? I think you'd probably say that, yeah, you probably could, even with that amount of training. And that's really what makes Flow really important, is that it's just making the platform work just so much harder for you in the way that your business operates, so that you can focus a lot more of your time and attention on the customer relationship and a lot less on the systems administration. So what I'll do now is I'll actually show you how we built this, because that's the really exciting piece. Is you might sort of say, well, okay, well, this is great, that was quite helpful, but how did we actually build this thing? How did this thing come to life? And certainly we can do this in Apex Code, and we can do this in Visualforce, and we can code that up, and we could specify it and ship that off to a developer, and they could work away doing that, and even code it up quite quickly using the power of Apex. But what we've actually done is we've done it using a nice drag and drop approach, and I'll show you that now. Okay, so this is the designer here that you can see. It's actually a Windows application, so I'm actually running it within Mac using a VM, so apologies for that sneakiness. But basically, it's a Windows application at the moment, and we're moving this designer over to be a web-based designer in the near future. So look forward to that. But until then, it's a desktop product. And so let me just show you how it fits together. So think about the diagram that you're seeing here as the icons representing the kind of the clicks that you would do, or the forms and screens that you would want the user to see. So if I just hover over, you can see that we've got that lead form that you saw with the last name and postcode. We then provided some results back. It didn't actually find any lead results in the system, so instead we selected the not found choice, and then we were shown that lead screen there. So really, this diagram represents the kind of the clicks that you would normally have to do, but it's all drag and drop, it's all zero code, and it's all done very simply in this one design tool. So we think this tool can be very successfully used by business users and business analysts, but also act as a shared language really between the business and IT. So when IT need to do some work, like say for example calling out to Google Docs, they can write those extensions in Apex, and you can simply use those by drag and dropping those services into your flow diagram here. So I won't show any more than that, but in future sessions what I'll do is I'll dive a little bit deeper into how you create business processes in this tool. But suffice to say, this tool is zero code and a really nice language for articulating the way your business works in the platform.